Today I'm going to remove the timing chain cover and water pump and install a new timing chain. Well, actually, I already removed the timing chain cover and water pump because I'm holding it in my hands. Yeah. Welcome back to the garage, the place where we are making your Bronco, your dream Bronco. We're turning your Ford 302 small block engine into a beast of a horsepower making flying rocket of an engine. Hey, if this is your first time here, I would love to have you subscribe. I'm putting out how-to videos for the weekend mechanic and putting out, you know, all kinds of Bronco entertainment for the Bronco community. Today what we're talking about is we are replacing our timing chain. I'm in the process of putting a new camshaft and lifters and timing chain set on my 1975 Ford 302. But the timing chain's just kind of a little bit tricky to get to, and it took a little bit extra time, and so I thought I'd make a little bit separate video just to kind of explain that, and you can see how I remove the timing chain. Before I get too far down the road, I'm gonna go ahead and set my engine at 0 degrees before top dead center. But once I get all of this removed, I'm going to actually line everything up with the timing chain because there's a couple marks on your timing chain that you can line up perfectly top dead center. And again, I'm putting in a new camshaft, so I'm taking my valve covers off and doing all this stuff. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loosen my power steering bracket and my alternator bracket from the timing chain cover and get everything off of the water pump timing chain, pull the belts off, get the harmonic balancer out of there, and begin to get into the timing chain. All right, so with the harmonic balancer out from down there, I'm gonna remove the timing chain cover, but also I'm gonna try to remove the water pump. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to keep the water pump on while I remove the timing chain cover, just to give me a little bit of leverage when I'm trying to pull it off. So it looks like I'll need to remove this alternator bracket. I'm gonna try to keep the alternator there in place and remove some of these other bolts. This is where your mechanical fuel pump would go if you still had it. I have an inline fuel pump, so I don't have the mechanical fuel pump, but yeah, so you gotta remove this bolt. There's one right here behind this bracket. These two right up here, one right there and one over there. And then you come down here, these two bolts, which one of them I already removed. And then on the other side, there are two bolts behind here that you gotta remove. My hose clamp is busted right here, so once I get the water pump off, I'll remove this hose, but I'm just trying to work around it right now until I can get it off. Now on my 1975 302, I have 4 bolts that are holding the oil pan to the timing chain cover. So I got to take those off. There's 2 on this side and then 2 over here on this side. So you got to remove those and then you can actually pull it off. And actually I stand corrected. There were 6 of them that had to come off of the oil pan. The weird part was 2 of them were 1/2 inch and then 4 of them were 7/16. So, you know, good engineering there, nice and confusing. So if any of you guys are getting stuck on that, the 2 up front are 1/2 inch and then the 2 on each side are 7/16. Now this is what I was talking about earlier, having these 2 dots line up. So you can see that one right there at the bottom of the big timing sprocket. And then on the little sprocket, there's one right there. I know it's hard to see, but those are perfectly in alignment. So that means that we are at 0 degrees, and that's exactly where we want to be before we take the timing chain off. So we're gonna put in a new timing chain, and that's some good slop there. But yeah, gonna throw a new one on there and be good to go. I got the Permatex Ultra Slick Engine Assembly Lube. So gonna be putting this on. So I got my new timing chain on, and if you remember before, you wanted to line up these 2 little notches. So I got those lined up, which means that we are at 0 degrees. And look at this. Do you see how much slop I had before on my chain? Like, there is very little slop now on this chain. It is a thing of beauty. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pour some oil over this and let it drain into the oil pan. And this little guy has this little tab on here. So, you know, we're doing the water pump and the timing chain, and you know, it's like just this maze of all these bolts that go in there. So it's easier just to put all the bolts in when it's all together before you put on all the rest of the stuff. So we're just kind of going through, putting all the bolts in, putting all the everything, you know, the alternator bracket, the power steering bracket, all of it in there right now, just because it's like, want to make sure that every bolt is in the timing chain cover, in the water pump, because you're looking at it going, wait, where'd all the bolts go? Oh yeah, I took them all out with the power steering bracket, and then I took it out with the, you know, the alternator bracket and this and that. So just putting it all back together. Actually, I'm watching Patrick work. That's honestly. I'm doing right now is I am just kind of lining my belts up, and what I'm wanting to do is I just want to make sure that everything fits the way that it should. Everything's looking pretty good. I still need to get the fan on here and actually bolt those in and suck it back onto the water pump, but angle from the camshaft pulley to power steering and over to my alternator, everything looks good. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break in the camshaft. So if you haven't checked out those videos on installing the camshaft, removing the old camshaft, and breaking it in, make sure to check those out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.